In the annals of criminal history, few cases intertwine reality and fiction as eerily as the case of Christian Bala, a Polish author whose novel inadvertently became the key to solving a cold-blooded murder. Bala's story is not just about a crime, it's a chilling tale of hubris, arrogance, and the dangerous allure of art imitating life. This narrative will unravel the twists and turns of a case that shocked Poland and the literary world, peeling back the layers of a mind both brilliant and sinister. On a chilly December day in 2000, the lifeless body of Dariusz Januszewski, a 35-year-old advertising agency owner, was pulled from the Oder River in Wrocław, Poland. His hands were bound with a noose tied around his neck, a harrowing image of calculated cruelty. Autopsy reports revealed he had been tortured and starved for several days before his death. Despite the gruesome nature of the murder, investigators found themselves at a dead end. There were no witnesses, no clear motive, and no immediate suspects. The case grew cold, but the memory of Januszewski's tragic fate lingered in the minds of the detectives who had sworn to bring justice to his family. Fast forward to 2003, when Christian Bala, a philosophy graduate turned writer, published his debut novel, Amok. The book received moderate success in Poland, celebrated for its dark and provocative themes. At first glance, Amok appeared to be a typical crime thriller, gritty, violent, and laced with philosophical musings about human nature. However, for one astute police officer, the story was more than fiction. Detective Jacek Wroblewski, who had recently taken over the unsolved Januszewski case, stumbled upon Amok during his investigation. In its pages, Wroblewski found chilling parallels to the murder he had been tasked to solve. The novel detailed the killing of a man in ways strikingly similar to Januszewski's death. The victim was bound, tortured, and eventually murdered under eerily identical circumstances. Even the method of disposal, a body dumped in a river, mirrored the real-life crime. Intrigued by the uncanny similarities, Wroblewski began digging into Bala's background. Christian Bala was an intellectual, known for his sharp mind and rebellious spirit. He had a troubled past, marked by a failed marriage and financial struggles. However, nothing in his public persona suggested he was capable of murder. Yet, as Wroblewski delved deeper, cracks began to appear in Bala's seemingly ordinary life. Investigators discovered that Bala had a personal connection to Dariusz Januszewski. Phone records revealed that Bala had called Januszewski shortly before his disappearance. Even more damning was evidence showing that Januszewski's stolen mobile phone had been sold on an online auction site shortly after his death by none other than Christian Bala. As investigators pieced together the puzzle, Amok became a crucial piece of evidence. The novel, written in a disturbingly detached tone, described a murder committed by a narrator who reveled in his own cleverness and believed he was untouchable. Bala's writing was not just a fictional narrative, it was a chilling reflection of his psyche. Police also found entries in Bala's personal journals that hinted at his involvement in the crime. In one entry, he wrote about the thrill of creating perfect chaos and the power he felt in manipulating others' lives. Bala's arrogance was his undoing. He had essentially documented his crime in both his novel and personal writings, confident that no one would connect the dots. Christian Bala was arrested in 2005, and his trial became a media spectacle. The prosecution argued that Amok was more than a novel, it was a blueprint for Januszewski's murder. They painted Bala as a narcissistic individual who believed his intellect placed him above the law. The defense, however, maintained that Amok was purely a work of fiction and that Bala's connections to Januszewski were circumstantial at best. In court, forensic evidence played a significant role. Bala's fingerprints were found on items linked to the crime, and witnesses testified to his erratic behavior around the time of the murder. The most damning testimony came from Bala himself. His aloof demeanor and cryptic answers during questioning only served to reinforce the image of a man who believed he was smarter than everyone in the room. In 2007, Christian Bala was convicted of orchestrating the murder of Dariusz Januszewski and sentenced to 25 years in prison. The court ruled that Bala had committed the crime out of jealousy, suspecting that Januszewski was romantically involved with his ex-wife. The motive, combined with the overwhelming circumstantial and forensic evidence, sealed his fate. The case of Christian Bala continues to captivate criminologists, literary scholars, and true crime enthusiasts. It raises profound questions about the relationship between art and reality. Can fiction be used as evidence of a crime? Where do we draw the line between artistic expression and confession? Bala's story also serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of arrogance. In his quest to outwit the world, Bala underestimated the persistence of law enforcement and the power of his own words. His novel, meant to showcase his brilliance, became the very thing that unraveled his carefully constructed facade. Christian Bala's case is more than a tale of murder. It is a narrative about human fallibility, the complexities of justice, and the enduring power of storytelling. Whether viewed as a criminal mastermind or a tragically flawed individual, Bala has etched his name into the annals of true crime history, a stark reminder that sometimes the line between reality and fiction is dangerously thin. Christian Bala's personality intrigued psychologists and criminologists alike. His intellectual arrogance and belief in his own superiority were central themes not only in his writings but also in his actions during the trial. Bala was often dismissive of the evidence against him, portraying himself as a misunderstood artist rather than a murderer. Experts speculated that Bala exhibited traits of narcissistic personality disorder. He craved attention and validation, and his novel Amok was a manifestation of this need. In interviews, he often downplayed the accusations against him, claiming that the parallels between his book and the murder were coincidental, or, at worst, a dark artistic experiment. However, his unwillingness to admit any wrongdoing only deepened the public's perception of him as a manipulative and cold individual. Bala's insistence on his innocence, coupled with his cryptic statements, left many questioning whether he had fully revealed the extent of his crimes or if there were more skeletons hidden in his closet. The trial of Christian Bala became a national obsession in Poland. Media outlets dissected every detail of the case, and Amok surged in popularity as readers sought to uncover the hidden truths within its pages. Some viewed Bala as a twisted genius, a modern-day Raskolnikov from Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. Others saw him as a pathetic figure, a man who exploited his intelligence to commit heinous acts and then sought to glorify them through fiction. Bala's case also sparked intense debates about the role of literature in society. Could an author be held accountable for the crimes described in their work? Was Bala's novel a cry for help, a taunt to authorities, or simply a creative outlet gone horribly wrong? Philosophers and literary critics weighed in, turning the trial into a broader cultural discussion about morality, art, and responsibility. Bala's story transcended national borders, attracting international attention. True crime enthusiasts, documentary filmmakers, and journalists delved into the case, producing articles, books, and films that examined every facet of his life and crimes. The case even inspired episodes of popular crime shows, solidifying Bala's status as a symbol of the blurred lines between fact and fiction. Documentaries explored the meticulous police work that led to his arrest, highlighting the dedication of Detective Wroblewski and his team. The narrative of a cold case solved by literary analysis resonated with audiences, emphasizing the idea that no detail, however small, is insignificant in the pursuit of justice. Since his conviction, Christian Bala has maintained his innocence, continuing to deny any direct involvement in Dariusz Januszewski's murder. In prison, he has reportedly tried to continue writing, though none of his subsequent works have gained the notoriety of Amok. Psychologists who have interviewed Bala describe him as a man unrepentant and unyielding, still convinced of his intellectual superiority. His refusal to cooperate with authorities or admit guilt has left many wondering whether he harbors secrets that may never be uncovered. Bala's life in prison, though far removed from the limelight, remains a source of fascination for those who follow his story. The Christian Bala case serves as a stark reminder of the complexities of human behavior and the pursuit of justice. It underscores the importance of perseverance in solving crimes, even when the trail appears cold. Detective Wroblewski's dedication to uncovering the truth demonstrates that intuition and tenacity are invaluable tools in law enforcement. At the same time, the case highlights the ethical dilemmas posed by artistic expression. Should authors be scrutinized for the content of their work? While most would argue that art should remain a space for free expression, Bala's story is a rare example where fiction may have been rooted in real-life events. It raises difficult questions about the responsibilities of creators and the potential consequences of their creations. Christian Bala's story is one of contradictions. He was a man of intelligence and creativity, capable of profound philosophical insights. Yet, he used his talents not to uplift but to manipulate and harm. His arrogance blinded him to the reality that justice, though delayed, is often inevitable. The Christian Bala case has become a point of reference in discussions about the boundaries of literature and its potential to reveal or distort the truth. In academic circles, Amok is studied not just as a novel but as a psychological document, a rare instance where fiction has a direct connection to real-life events. Scholars often use it as a case study to explore how art can serve as both a mirror to the artist's psyche and a clue to their actions. The case has inspired a wave of creative works, from crime novels to films. Writers and filmmakers have been drawn to its inherent drama and philosophical undertones. The idea of a murderer writing about his crime in plain sight is a narrative ripe for exploration, reflecting themes of guilt, hubris, and the complex interplay between reality and imagination. For criminologists, the Bala case is a goldmine of insights into the psychology of killers who seek notoriety. Unlike many perpetrators who try to conceal their crimes, Bala seemed to relish the idea of embedding clues in his novel, almost daring authorities to catch him. This behavior aligns with a profile of criminals who are driven not only by their actions but also by a desire to control the narrative around their crimes. Criminologists have used the case to highlight the role of behavioral analysis in solving crimes. Detective Wroblewski's focus on seemingly unrelated elements like Bala's book demonstrates the importance of lateral thinking in criminal investigations. The case serves as a reminder that understanding the psychology of a suspect can sometimes reveal more than forensic evidence alone. The enduring public fascination with Christian Bala stems in part from the moral ambiguity of his story. Unlike cases where guilt is unequivocal, Bala's conviction relied heavily on circumstantial evidence and the interpretation of his novel. This ambiguity has sparked debates about the ethics of convicting someone based on artistic expression, even when that expression bears a striking resemblance to a real crime. For some, Bala represents the ultimate anti-hero, a flawed genius who pushed the boundaries of art and morality. For others, he is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ego and the thin veneer of civilization that can mask darker impulses. This duality has kept the case alive in the public imagination, fueling discussions about justice, creativity, and human nature. The case leaves us pondering the thin line between genius and madness, between creativity and cruelty. Bala's story is not just a tale of crime and punishment, it is a mirror reflecting the darker facets of human nature. In the end, it reminds us that even the most brilliant minds can succumb to their basest impulses, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake.